log in.
No, but we are
We're
we are
officially live.
we are officially live. Let's see what's going on here. So first, let's make sure this whole thing is working, and then we're going to confirm that Juliet is going to get into this thing. Gentlemen, you want to make sure this thing's working? Oh yeah, it's working. Oh, there she is.
Hey, I'm back.
Now it's a party.
Hey, guys.
Officially a party.
Oh man, this is good.
I thought I was gonna have to stare at Jason for 45 minutes.
Oh man, I was looking at it. I want to look at your eyes. You know. Let's see. Let's make sure this whole thing is working. Okay, so let's go to the chat. Okay, so the chat's working. Q&A. Hey, Chris. Is there anybody on? Yeah, I don't think this is working properly because it says there's 0 viewers, but I know there's viewers because there's guys in my gym who are looking at this.
I see a little thing in the corner that says live.
Yeah, I see a thing in the corner that says live too.
We're alone in here.
All right, so can you guys try and ask a question on there? Just go to the Q&A and then try and ask one and see if it pops up for me. Oh, there we go. Now it's starting to click in. Hey, JP, I'm just trying to read that bit of knowledge behind you, bro. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on back there.
Yeah, it's looking a little beautiful mindish, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get back to that screen. Here, I'll bring you back. Oh, yeah, to-dos. New hire. See, that's the way, that's how we run a business, huh? Is to have a little whiteboard session.
All day long.
Yeah, it's working. It's working now. So, guys, for those of you who are on this, obviously, you have with us today, I'm Jason Khalipa. We have JP from Brick CrossFit, and we have Juliet from San Francisco CrossFit. I think more people will start to trickle in as they figure out how to use this link. But for now, I'm trying to test out the Q&A button, so give us a quick second. I want to make sure it's working. So one of our good-looking folks over here is trying to make sure it works.
I can see it on my end.
You can see the question pop up?
Yeah, on the top right, if you hit questions, it should pop up.
Click on the Q&A right here.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
good.
There it is. I said hello.
Oh, you said hello? All right.
Hello.
So Zach says hello, and he says it just like that, too. So, all right, well, Ali says hello, and Zach says what's going on. So, guys, we're just waiting again for people to kind of trickle into this thing, and we'll kind of get started. So, if you want to be able to kind of be in on this chat, just start putting your questions on the right, and we can kind of start having a little bit of a dialogue here. Oh, you have to be in Google Plus to be able to do that, I guess. So they also in YouTube? Is that what's happening here too? Okay, in the comments section of the YouTube? All right. The next one, this will be a little bit more streamlined here. All right, well, why don't we get started? So, guys, real quick, I know a few of you guys know about me and about the gyms that we have and what we have going on, but I wanted to explain a little bit about kind of like the specialties here, about what we could talk about. So myself, I own NorCal CrossFit. I have, or we as a company, have 4 commercial sites or normal sites like you would see anywhere else in the world, but we also have an additional 15 corporate sites that we have throughout the rest of Asia and internationally. And so when it comes to certain expertise, I think, for corporate wellness. I think we're trying to do certain things that other people maybe haven't done before. And my partners in crime here have other skill sets that I may not have. So JP from Brick is very talented in terms of being in more of a dense metropolitan area. So he has affiliates in New York and LA, and he also has even licensed his name for other areas around the world, which is an interesting concept. So when it comes to groundbreaking, top-notch, in the middle of a city gyms that are expensive, need funding, JP's got to talk to you, and he also has education on other stuff as well, partnerships, etc. Juliet, who's with us, is a really great example for this conversation because she is not just, she doesn't have multiple affiliates. She actually only has one, and she's very good at what she does. San Francisco CrossFit has an incredible brand, Mobility WOD as well. A lot of you guys have heard of Kelly Starrett, which is her husband, but Juliet runs the business of Mobility WOD and is very talented, has a legal background, has a lot of different things going. But the interesting conversation here is that I've opened up multiple affiliates. JP's opened up multiple affiliates. Juliet, although she could open it, it's not no question in my mind, she hasn't. And so I think the first thing we could start just brainstorming on is why is it that Juliet has decided not to open up another affiliate? And I think if we just kickstart it there, we can wait for more people to come in and make sure these questions and stuff are working properly, because this will all be saved on YouTube later on. So Juliet, maybe you could kind of jumpstart us with the idea of, why do you think that over the last, I don't know, I think probably what, 9 years, you were probably the 150th affiliate? I was going to say, was that about right?
We are the 25th affiliate.
Oh,
my bad. Hey, and we opened. We're actually in our 10th year. And it's a good question. About 5 years ago, we really explored and talked really intensely about whether we wanted to open a second affiliate. We felt like we had all of our systems for San Francisco CrossFit in place, and that we could, pretty not easily, but that we had systems and strategies in place that we could open a second affiliate. We actually spent a bunch of time looking for other real estate in San Francisco. We're also pretty close with a bunch of other affiliate owners in the San Francisco area, so we wanted to try to open in a location where we weren't, right across the street from some of our friends who own gyms there. We wanted to be conscious of that, but simultaneously we started Mobility WOD, and in the end, the decision for us came down to the fact that we felt really passionate about wanting to try to grow and make Mobility WOD what it is today and what we think it can become over the next 10 years. And so really the final decision for us was that we wanted to focus our attention on growing and running Mobility WOD and keeping San Francisco CrossFit growing and evolving and maybe tinkering there to make it more awesome. But in the end for us it was about, where do we want to put our focus? How much bandwidth do Kelly and I both have? There were some logistics for us too. I mean, I think part of it was on a personal level, we weren't sure we wanted to be driving around to a bunch of different gyms. And then the other thing we really considered, which was also an important part of the decision, was that a big part of our brand, San Francisco CrossFit, has been deep and very well-trained coaching staff, and that's really what we're known for. And we did have some concerns about whether we could scale that and how we would be able to, we have a very intensive internship program. We're on site a lot, working with our coaches, and we weren't sure how we could scale ourselves at another location and kind of keep that that key part of our brand alive. But really, the biggest part of the decision for us was that, we had this other business, Mobility WOD, going on, and we wanted to grow that and focus our attention there.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me, Juliet, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were really thinking about, okay, what's moving the needle for us? What is taking us from where we're at today to a more successful company? And success is determined in different ways, but for a lot of people, it comes with kind of what is financially doing it for the business. And I guess where I'm going with this is that I think sometimes people, when they're thinking about opening up a second affiliate, their first thing is, I want to open a second affiliate because I want to be able to make more money. That could be their mindset. But I think what you're saying is that you looked at your business, you said, okay, is it the right time for us? Can we do it logistically? Can we keep the same quality? And then maybe open up a second affiliate isn't the best way to necessarily generate additional revenue. Maybe there's other ways, and so you had to kind of pick and choose where you want to spend your time. And for you guys, the business of mobility was, I mean, obviously it was a home run, and you guys continue to be the staple, in my opinion, for good tools to use.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right, Jason. Really our thought was, how do we diversify our revenue streams? But you know, that was part of it. But really, and I think you run your business this way. We started Mobility WOD because we felt like we had things to say and information to share. And as an after fact, you know, we have a subscription site and monetize the business and have other lines of revenue within Mobility WOD. But you're exactly right. I mean, we did reach a point in our affiliate where we felt like we needed to diversify somehow, whether that was a second affiliate or Mobility WOD. And you're exactly right. Like we felt like it was a good call for us to turn our attention towards Mobility WOD. And I don't want to suggest, by the way, that we're not always tinkering and trying to, you know, make San Francisco CrossFit better and more awesome, because that's always on our radar screen. You know, that's our home base.
Yeah, and I think what you're really speaking to is affiliate owners, I think, are trying to find ways to diversify themselves. And so what I want to kickstart on, and Juliet says, hey, you know, we haven't opened up a second affiliate, one, because we want to kind of focus on this a little bit, but other, what I heard was you're saying, okay, San Francisco CrossFit is well known for good quality coaching. And we were afraid that if we opened up a second affiliate, what would happen there? And so I think, JP, maybe you could help me, but when I think about opening up a second affiliate, I know we've talked about this personally, is I think about it really only in two situations. Option A, I have some killer, amazing coaches that if I don't give them additional opportunities, they may leave and go open up their own affiliate, right? And I want to give an opportunity within our company to keep them with us, right? So that's number one, is if I have someone who's just so top-notch that I need to give them another opportunity. The second would be if it was just too good to be true. You know, you got a new location for, you know, half of market rent or whatever it may be. Those are the two reasons that I'm looking for it, and I can speak to more in the future. But for you, JP, what are you looking for? Why do you think about opening up a second affiliate? And yeah, what's your story with that?
Yeah, great questions, Jay. Thanks. Absolutely. So certainly you touched on two of the hot points. There's three key components that most people need to look for when they're even sitting around at first discussing the idea of opening another location. I can get into what I believe are the 5 key points, but the 3 topics, the 3 internal discussions you have to have with yourself, first and foremost, are what is your purpose, which is exactly what you just touched on. If you have a key level of staff where your team is just unstoppable, you've got people that are deserving of an opportunity to go to the next level, they need a vertical challenge in their career opportunity, then absolutely. Purpose 1 for expansion is because you have the proper people in place, and this is the next reasonable, viable means of excelling their career. That's number 1. Yeah. Then the second thing that you have to look at on that purpose, like you had mentioned, was if there's just an opportunity that's too good to be true. We've all had that, whether it be, just to use personal experiences, I don't mind sharing. You know, you mentioned some of the locations that I'm opening. I am also under construction in Chicago, right, in the Central Loop. Most people would say, JP, why would you ever go to Chicago? You're doing well in New York, you're doing well in LA, you've got some overseas stuff. Because A, not only did I have great team members that we've been developing that are deserving of vertical career opportunities, but the deal was too good to be true. All right? It's already signed, we're already under construction, so it's okay if the landlord hears that. It was too good to be true, and we had to move forward on it. All right? So that covers the purpose factor. The second component was, what is your passion? Right? Why passionately do you want to take the risk of opening a secondary location? Because, you know, you mentioned, Jason, people want to make more money, right? But what they tell you is that if at some point the money doesn't reach the level of where your passion is at for that particular project, it never will become worth your time. And then all of a sudden, as that speech I shared with you guys last time we were together, is some people will actually value sleep more than they do success, right? The importance of sleep becomes more important than their original passion project of opening another location. So that's what I would call the first two P's, right? Is your purpose, is your staff and team, is the deal too good to be true. The second is you've got a fire in you, and no matter who is around you and how many mentors you have, you're going. That passion burns way too bright, and nobody's going to stop you of your dreams. Then there's the third component, and this is the magic piece that a lot of people in our industry don't like to talk about, and that's profitability. If you don't have the profitability, it's just a matter of time before your systems completely break down and you're scrounging and your passion lowers, your purpose gets skewed, and the entire system breaks down, and you've got a massive issue on your hand. So if I could just reiterate on the super quick, you've got your purpose, which we discussed. You have to have your passion in place, and it's got to be clear to you. And then, no doubt, what encompasses that as a circle, if you had your two P's in the middle, purpose and passion, the circle is, are you profitable? Because if you're not making money in the first one, it's a far cry to assume that that's going to happen on the second one. So that's the quick and simple on the three P's.
I've got a question for you on that, JP. In terms of percentages or whatever, what would you advise people on what they should be making to even consider opening a second affiliate?
Yeah, so I'll keep this very simple on the way that I respond to this. I'll allow my glasses to make me look smart enough. So I'm just going to rely on that. So basically what you want to make sure is that you're seeing a solid 25%. Most people say 30, 33%. For the sake of our particular business and without getting too intricate in where these numbers come from, if you're safely clearing a 20 to 25% profit margin and it's over a consistent period of time, then at least you know that you're secure internally with your own finances to take the risk of opening another one. Obviously, if you have other accessory businesses or you have a slush fund of a large amount of money, you can navigate that number up or down.
And then when you talk about profit, you're talking about return on sales, JP?
Yeah, I would just talk about, to make it simple, is at the end of every month, by the first of every month, depending on how much went out and how much came in, there was 20% was left in the bank.
There you go. I'm trying to keep it simple.
20% more.
Yeah, more than 20%. So guys, I think JP, obviously with his three Ps, crushing it. Juliet talked a little bit about, kind of her. I want to go back to the quality of the coaching thing in a minute, but I want to answer this question. So Zach is saying, hey guys, thanks for doing this. I have an affiliate in Reno, and my affiliate is 3,000 square feet, and there's a facility that opened at the same time as 14,000 square feet. How do I compete? And this is a very good question. So every day I get emails, and I actually have a lot of people who come by the gym and who try and pick our brain on different business things. And one of the first things that they say to me is, hey, I'm going to take out a $200,000 loan or whatever to go open up my affiliate. And the first thing I'm going to say to them is, why are you taking out a $200,000 loan? And they say, well, I need really nice facilities, I need top-notch equipment, and to compete with my competitors in the area. And 10 years ago or 8 years ago when I opened up my affiliate, I opened it up with $5,000 in a small rinky-dink 1,200 square foot space. Now, obviously CrossFit's changed. I get that. Maybe we can't do that anymore. But I want to be really clear on how to answer this question, that how do you compete with a 14,000 square foot facility? It's easy. You offer better community and better coaching. Like, the reason why people come into a CrossFit gym, point blank, is not necessarily for the facility. It's for the community and for the quality coaching. And if you're not giving that, you're missing the point there. That also kind of goes in line with the CrossFit Games. So the other day I was at Starbucks. A brand new affiliate owner comes up to me like, hey, I just opened up affiliate XYZ. I'm like, awesome. I was like, so how are things going? They say, well, we have one goal for this year. I was like, oh, tell me that one goal. It wasn't, create a community where, we get to 100 members, or, have multiple level 3 certified coaches, or getting a 25% return on sales, whatever, right? It had nothing to do with the business side of it. The answer she said was, I want to send a team to the NorCal regionals. And I said to her, listen, the CrossFit Games are amazing, but when you start a business, you need to start it in terms of focusing on the 99%, the people who actually pay your bills and keep the lights on. And those people are not necessarily the same people who are going to build up your team to go to regionals. And so I think when you're talking about how do you compete between a 14,000 square foot space or 3,000, it's very simple. Focus on the 99%, add value, right? Be relentless at the constant pursuit of good coaching. Bottom line, if someone walks in your door and they feel welcome and they're getting good quality coaching, they're going to stay with you. It doesn't matter if you have 2,000, 3,000, or 10,000 square feet. Don't get caught up in the shiny, amazing things of a nice facility, because that might attract a member, but it's not going to retain a member. So that's just something to think about. You guys have something to add on that, JP, Juliet?
Well, I was just going to add, I mean, I completely agree. I think that creating quality is all that matters. Quality coaching, quality systems, high-level community, keeping people involved. And I also think, you know, there's something to say for starting small as an owner and not adding on that level of stress of members. I got to get more members because I got to pay for this 14,000 square foot space. And I think if you're not constantly worried about managing and keeping the doors open on some huge expensive space and you've got a smaller space, you actually can focus your attention more on the things that will actually keep and retain your members, which is developing quality coaches and having efficient systems, and you know, just having a tight program. And you know, I imagine that person with 14,000 square feet is every day counting their membership and stressed about how many people are coming in and going out of the door, as opposed to focusing on what's happening inside the gym.
Yeah, certainly. If you don't mind, I'll touch on that for a quick second as well. And
Go right
first
ahead.
off,
Go right ahead.
CrossFit Zachary, just want to let you know the quick answer to your question is just yes. That's the simple answer. All right, so playing off of what Juliet said and what Jason said, because he really does hit it on the head, is, and for my own sake and my own sanity, I like to go in the belief of the old time saying that size doesn't matter, right? For personal reasons and many others, size just doesn't matter. You know, my original. We'll talk about my LA location. And only that as far as size is concerned right now. So my original LA location was 5,000 square feet. And I was able to get that space to well over 500 active members. And by the way, I want to be clear that any numbers that I speak of are active, actual paying members. You know, not people that once time pass through the facility. So these are true bodies that translate in the facility. You know, I was running well over 300 plus bodies in a single day on 5,000 square feet. That was a single CrossFit floor of 2,300 square feet and a back room with accessory products, intro, on-ramp, and academies, yoga, et cetera, of another few hundred square feet. So really the size of your facility is not going to dictate how you can compare to a 14,000 square feet. Now, I also want to say this to this particular question. The size of your space can also be a detriment to your actual community and culture of your space. So when looking, you do need to be careful that size isn't what is going to impress people, as Jason said, and as I've been telling most people I come in contact with, size is not what's impressive. You have to understand it's the quality of the community, the quality of the culture, the quality of the coaching staff that you have in place. And the larger the facility gets, the harder it is to manage that environment. So you're almost better off acquiring a space where you can maximize the number of people that are in there before you worry about how big it is. And of course, if you get into a space that has the room to expand and break walls down, that's always great. But you never want to be in a business where you're worried on day 365 that the space you're in may have been too big and it's affecting the quality of the experience when people are in there.
Yeah.
Could I just add one thing too, Jason, on the, I just spoke with an affiliate owner yesterday who was having issues because he's got a team that looks like they're going to qualify for regionals, and they're training on their own, taking up all of his time as an owner, and there is a division that's been created now because his regular members are saying, hey, why did those guys get to train on their own and use the gym at off hours when we don't get to? And I just would like to emphasize that, you know, we've had this issue in the past. There have been times when I've got sucked into managing our team and our individual games athletes, and I completely agree the games is a wonderful part of CrossFit, and I've competed in the games. It's great, but I think as an affiliate owner, you can really get sidetracked on focusing all your attention on your team, which again is your 1% of your membership, and it's your 99% of your not, people who just want to look good naked and feel healthy and fit that are actually paying your membership fees. So I had to touch on that because I just talked to an affiliate owner yesterday about that too.
Yeah, and I mean, coming from me, obviously our gym, I've competed a couple times at the games, and I think it's a very important part of our culture, our community. I think it's awesome. I think it's great for everything. But as an affiliate owner, we just can't get too wrapped up in it. We really need to focus on the day in and day out members who are, like my mom, who's transforming herself from health markers to lifting to be able to take care of my daughter better. Those are the people we need to focus on because they're going to be the ones who are going to tell their friends, and they're the ones who are going to really be the community builders, right? In regards to the size of space, I think that was an interesting point that you brought up, JP. Currently, NorCal, we have larger facilities and we have smaller facilities, and you brought up a good point. 14,000 square feet, if you have a class of 10 people in it, it feels very awkward. If you have a class of even 50 people, now it's too many people to service well. And so really what I think, now that we've been doing this for 8 years, I think the best size of an affiliate, again, it depends on how it's segmented, but if you were to just have one big open space, I think it's somewhere between that 4,000 to 5,000 square foot range is a great place because it allows you to have classes that are big enough, but not too big that it has this sense of just kind of like you feel lost in the space, or you just feel like you're another person. And so that's something to think about, that in CrossFit, bigger is not necessarily always better. Now, you could take a 14,000 square foot space, segment it, perhaps have specialty class over here, etc. But if you just had one CrossFit class, you really don't need that big of space. And like JP's saying also, when you open up your affiliate, guys, I want to just touch base on one thing. The difference between opening up an affiliate as a hobby and opening up as a business or as work. When I open up my affiliate, I'm super passionate about CrossFit. I love CrossFit, live, breathe, sleep it. But I also knew that when I opened up my affiliate, it was with the goal of providing for my family and for as many families as possible who work for the company. And so I think it's really important that as affiliate owners move forward, and for those of you who are watching this, and for anybody who's going to see it later on, when you open up an affiliate, yes, you might love it, but it's still going to work. Meaning when you step through the doors, you're still running a business. And if you don't think about it like that, you could really have some issues moving forward. Myself, in particular, I didn't focus enough on the finances. I didn't pay enough attention to taxes. And it ended up being a big burden on me. And even though that's one thing I saw, and there was other things, obviously, but I want everybody to be really clear that when you open up an affiliate, even though you love it, it's still a business. And so approach it that way. Approach it with that constant pursuit of excellence, but also look at all the different business aspects of it, if that makes sense. The difference. Right. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add to that I think you go into it not only that knowing that you're going to run it like a business, but also having a level of self-awareness that if you are not someone who's super organized and can understand the financials and can really understand the business side of running an affiliate, you either need to learn really quickly or you need to hire someone who is good at those things. And I think I've seen in some of my own conversations with people sometimes a lack of self-awareness because they go in thinking, hey, I just 4 walls, I put in a rig, I'm an awesome CrossFit coach, I'm going to coach every single class, and maybe a lack of awareness about what it really takes to run the business side and what kind of knowledge you need to have. And so I think folks either really need to educate themselves or hire staff who have a business background or really can understand that stuff.
And we could talk more about this in future Google Hangouts or whatever, but I know we have all talked about just as one concept for all you affiliate owners watching this. Here's a big concept. Know what you know and know what you don't know. And for me, it took me a lot of hardship to know what I know and know what I don't know. What do I know? I know how to, be a guy who wants to run a cool gym, coach, high five people, stuff like that, and just be this like personality in here that just loves to work out. But what I don't necessarily know legal. I don't necessarily know HR, and I surely don't know finances as well as certain people. And sooner than later, if you could hire people for that, you're going to be able to do probably a better job than you think of. And here's a quick story for you. So Matt Chan, you guys might have heard of him. Him and I were competing for Team USA three years ago. And I'm in the car and someone calls me. And I pick up the phone, and my phone number used to be on the all of our marketing stuff, right? On our windows, on our website, etc. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, this is Jason. You know, welcome to NorCal CrossFit, etc. And the person asked me a bunch of questions, and I was kind of short with them, a little bit short. And we hang up the phone. And Matt's like, why do you answer the phones? I was like, well, I like to be the person who's kind of like the face of the business. And I like to be able to, you know, interact with everybody. And he goes, yeah, but if you're busy and you're kind of being short with them, you're not giving them proper service. And I'm like, he's like, and basically what he said to me was, you know, if this was that person's only job, they could do it at 100%. But I'm doing it at 60% because I'm trying to do too many things. And so even though I thought that was the right decision because I wanted to be that guy, I needed to learn when to let go and delegate things and let someone else do it, because them at 100% is always going to be better than me at 60, 70%. And I'm sure JP, you know, Juliet, I'm sure you have examples of that as well. And I want to continue to talk about things like this in future Hangouts. I just want to bring that up because it was mind-blowing for me when he's like, dude, you were super short with that woman. You know, what are you doing?
I had a similar sort of aha moment about 3.5 years ago when I was sitting at my computer at 11:30 at night answering emails that had come into our website through the email form that were just general, like, how do I get started? What do I do here? And I was emailing with a friend and mentor simultaneously, who was also up. He runs a big insurance company, and he said the same thing to me. He said, why are you answering those emails? You should be doing other things. And it was right. I was too late. I was exhausted. I probably wasn't doing a good job. And that was a big wake up for me.
Yeah. So guys, I want to get to this question. JP, Juliet, I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but I have a 3,200 square foot building, great community, great coaching. I agree with you guys. What do I tell them when they feel the space is too small? Our rates average $120 a month. Our building has room to knock out walls. We are planning on buying sooner, building sooner, or I guess breaking through the wall soon. JP, you wanna attack this one?
Sure thing. You know, the quick and simple on this is put yourself on a whiteboard first. You know, clear your mind out, clear all this. This is noise, right? That's going to distract you from how you really break this down. Get on a whiteboard and ask yourself this: with 3,200 square feet at $120 a month, first check your rates against the market. Market being other facilities in the area, other CrossFit gyms. Just understand your marketplace, right? If you want to be a leader in your industry, you have to know how your industry operates, and then you got to learn how to lead your industry. You can't just hope one day you become that. So become an expert in your industry. Know your numbers, right? They always say you have to know your numbers to grow your numbers. Know your numbers. Take your numbers, put them on a board. 3,200 square feet. You've got classes that average X size, offering this many classes a day. Great, that's a staple. Is there room to add more classes? If no, then you're at capacity. Back off of that number. What is your actual net profit a month? And people that are asking, yes, that means after your OPEX, overhead, you know, after all your expenses, your overhead and expenses, you need to know what's left. After you've paid everybody off and nobody's knocking on your door anymore, what's left? And you've got to look at what that looks like. Is your take home in that? Are you paying yourself? If you're not, and your income is dictated by what's left at the end of every month, and that's already scraping and struggling, then you shouldn't even be worrying about expanding into another location yet. You need to worry about how to make the space you're in efficient. And this is where, as Jason says, you gotta learn how to know what you don't know, because if you try to do it on your own, learning what you don't know on your own will be the most expensive learning lesson of your life. Could be one that's career ending, could be one that's financially could bury you. All right, and I can talk about a few of those personal experiences that would blow your mind in a minute. So you take this concept, you whiteboard it out, and say, listen, I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to make 80 grand a month. Whatever your realistic understanding is of a single location. And then you say, well, how am I going to get there? So take the big picture number, all right, build back off of that on a whiteboard and say, how many members do I have to have at what rate, and how can I service them? Because if I have 700 members and 3,200 square feet, you've got to churn a certain number of those a day to actually service them, which means that you might have averaging of 44 people a class. If you're on a single floor and 3,200 square feet, it's obviously unreasonable, right? Each member requires anywhere from 54 to 84 square feet per workout, all right?
Knowledge, baby.
Yeah. So it just depends on the actual WOD and Metcon in place. So you can't do, if you have 40 people in class and you have 3,200 square feet and only 2,700 of that is operable, at 40 or 50 members in class, you can't run a Metcon that requires 84 square feet. You're just not going to do it, all right? So now they're not walking lunging, they're lunging in place. So you got to get on that board, and it's got to make sense. Is it going to bring home the take-home that you want at the end of the month so that you know that you have a real career that you're building? Can you actually service them with the size and space and facility that you have, right? And when all that adds up, is your margin of error actually built in there? Because you're not going to get there in 30 days. So you have to know that it's going to take 90, 120 a year to grow into whatever that bigger number is. So to CF Zachary, really what you need to look at is what are you trying to create there from a financial aspect. What are you trying to create there as far as a product and a brand, and is it feasible in that location? It's hard for me to say that because for some people whose dreams are really big and their passion is strong, because I've done a lot of consulting for affiliates, and sometimes you just kind of walk in there and you look at them and say, man, I'm about to slap you with the coming of Jesus talk, but I'm going to save you. I'm going to save your family's financial future. You gotta get out. You gotta get out. You gotta pull the cord, and we gotta look at how we can salvage what you've got going on. So that situation does exist.
And something else to add on that, CF Zachary, is, and this goes for all affiliate owners, and this is something I'm battling with myself right now, is when you pay rent. So JP, you have some big rents, right? I have some big rents. Juliet, you have a big rent.
Big rent.
For us, at one of our locations, it cost us, at one of them, and this is not the highest end or lowest end, whatever, on average, it's like $450 a day that we're paying in rent, right? And JP, I know yours are a lot more than that, and Juliet, yours a little bit more than that. But on average, we pay $450 a day for the locations we have, right? So if that's the case, if I'm not open on Saturdays and Sundays, right off the bat, I'm losing $900 right off the bat each week, right? Multiply that times a month, and I'm losing out on close to $4 grand. Now, something to think about, CF Zachary, is I bring this situation up because how much are you utilizing your current space today? I think a lot of affiliates, they're doing well. They're maybe bringing home a moderate wage. They have a decent net income. They're saying to themselves, okay, I want to open up a second space. But before you open up a second space, think to yourself, are you fully maximizing your current space, like what JP's saying? He's referring to it based on square foot and amount of people in it. One thing I want to add to that is how many classes a day. So think about it. Right now, if your gym is open at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., closed until 12, open for an hour, closed until 4, open to 7, well, shit, you're paying rent on that 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. And so in my opinion, before we even think about knocking down walls or things like that, first you want to say is, well, shit, I'm already paying rent here. I might as well see, can I maximize the space by adding an 8 a.m. women-only class, a 9 a.m. firefighter class that, whatever. I'm using those examples. 10 o'clock, get down, heavy lifting class, whatever. But the whole point I'm trying to say is that one of our goals here at NorCal, and we're working towards this, is that every minute of every day, right, from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m., our gyms should have people in them. and it shouldn't be an abundant amount to where people feel like they're, stepping on top of each other. But there should be enough people in here that we could, utilize the space. We're paying rent on it. We might as well do that.
Yeah, and I mean, just to add a couple of things to that, I completely agree with everything JP and Jason said. And just to add, I think the real question is, are you using your space as efficiently as possible? I mean, we ran into this issue where we were starting to have 40 people show up for some of our morning classes. We capped our class size. We require people to sign up for class in advance. We literally have overlapping classes from 5:30 in the morning until 8:30 at night. We only have an hour window during the day where there's no classes. And I think the key is to use your space and make sure you're using it as efficiently as possible. And then if you've added as many classes as you can, you've had class size limits, you've done everything you can in your space, and you can afford it, you consider expanding.
Okay, so Juliet, JP, did you guys get that last question I asked?
No.
Okay, so I just asked, how do you make money from a second affiliate? Do you pay commissions to the head coach or some type of monthly fee? I guess what he's really referring to is kind of like a profit share. And at the same time, how do you make sure the quality of coaching is standardized? So, JP, maybe you could say remotely what you do with your affiliates, and I can kind of give an idea of what we do.
Yeah, the structure that we have set up is for our management team that we drop in place from open. They're all in a position of salary. It's a career-based job. They're full-time with benefits. It's something that they know has a vertical growth pattern to it, so they're excited. They know that the better they perform, the better the location performs, the greater growth of the company, the greater investment the company will have in their future and the growth of their career, right? Not just in reinvesting in their further education, but also we do involve them in a profit share off of the growth of the company as it's opened and through its first, through its first 30, 60, 90, 120, all the way through the term of that particular location until they potentially move off onto another location. So that's the simple form of that.
Yeah. In regards to us with additional affiliates, the way I look at it, do I think profit share is wrong? No. I think profit share could be a good idea. Do I think that there could be incentive-based bonuses? Of course. But for me, the way we do it currently, and I'm not saying this is the way we're going to do it a year or two from now because you need to keep evolving with the times, is we pay, in our opinions, a fair, quality, good wage, and we make sure that their quality of life is where they want to be. We make sure that the operators, we call them, or general managers of each location, are completely satisfied with their location and that they're on a trajectory in terms of where they can go with pay structure based on how long they've been there. And also, we keep them informed of the finances of the location. How is the gym performing? How many members did you lose this month? That information is very important for them to be fully aware of so that they can make changes to it. Something else to think about is the reason why we don't necessarily do a profit share or even like an equity split is because for us, we have 4 locations in a very close radius, so people can go back and forth between each one. So because of that, it made it a little bit challenging to create like a profit share because we don't know where a member could, be 50-50. How do we do that? And so it's just a little bit easier for us just to say, okay, we're going to pay fair wages. We're going to make sure you're doing your job. If you're not doing your job, then you're not going to have that job anymore. But we're going to make sure that we're paying them well and that we give them trajectory to be a part of our community for a long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to clarify one thing that I said may have been incorrect, but we don't do a profit share either for that same reason, Jason. We will do a bonus off of profits, but we don't get involved in profit share. However, we are fully transparent with our management team on all of the financials. There is nothing hidden. And then to add additionally, there's something that many of these affiliate owners need to think about, not only in their current location, but absolutely if they're looking to scale out and open a second location, is one thing you touched on was quality of life. You need to make sure as an affiliate owner that you're paying, if you have somebody full-time, you need to look at the growth of your business and is it going to be able to afford somebody the quality of life that's going to keep them around. Otherwise, you cannot wake up one morning and be surprised if Johnny Big Pockets opens up down the street and starts dangling gold encrusted carrots to humans that want to feed their family more. That's a natural law of progression, right? If you don't progress, you can't. If you're not willing to progress, you can't grow. If you can't grow, you can't change. If you're not changing in life, you're dying. All right, and we don't want to do that sooner than God's gonna make us. So you have to understand you got to be able to provide a quality of life for your people, not only yourself but for your team. Right? Let's talk about your team, not us. Then the second thing is, as an affiliate owner, you just might, and just to be frank, you might just be a douche to work for. Right? So you're providing a shitty quality of workspace. You're Donnie the douchebag. You're the guy you don't like to be around and can't figure out why they don't want to be around you. You should provide your employees, and in all seriousness, your team, a very structured quality of life from their finances that they can create, as well as their work environment. Are you treating them like a professional educator of functional fitness? Are you treating them as somebody who can grow in your facility and within your organization? If not, don't be surprised if they leave.
Yeah, that's a very good point, JP. And I think when it talks about quality of life for your coaches, this is a very important thing, because retention is big. Members start to get a relationship with their coaches, and if you're starting to see a lot of turnover, your members will pick that up, no question about it. And so, Juliet, you've had really good retention with a lot of your people, and I know you guys focus a little bit more on personal training, but you also have obviously regular CrossFit classes. How do you feel like you've what I like about what your model is, and maybe you could talk about this, Juliet, is that you've created opportunities for your coaches without necessarily taking on more of a burden as a business. And what I mean by that is you give a very fair, I think, split for personal training, where your coaches now can make a good living, but the business doesn't necessarily incur more of an expense. Do you want to talk about how that works, so that they could have quality of life for a long period of time to come?
Sure. It's been a huge focus of ours to create what we call professional coaches, and in any profession, you make enough money to not just live paycheck to paycheck, but actually be able to save. And part of that for us is we have full benefits, health insurance, and dental, and we also have a 401k program. So for us, for our staff, we feel like that's just one step towards them actually being true professionals. But we have really emphasized private coaching at our gym. We still have tons of CrossFit classes and specialty classes all day long, every single day. But most of our coaches, they probably make 90% of their income working for us through private coaching. We do a 70-30 split, but we also allow them to choose whatever hourly rate works for them, basically whatever the market will bear. So if you get some of our more veteran coaches, they're going to be charging $125, $150, $200 an hour. Some of our newer coaches are closer to $85 to $100 an hour. But at a minimum, these guys are making $75 an hour after I take my split. And these guys are able to make a really good living, and I think this is why we've been able to retain them. The other side thing we've done, which is a little unusual, is we have not only allowed but encouraged our staff to diversify and run their own side businesses. So Diane Fu with Fu Barbell is a really good example. Fu Barbell was sort of launched out of San Francisco CrossFit. Carl Powley, Gymnastics WOD. We have Nate Helming, who runs the Run Experience and Helming Athletics. And we recognize and appreciate that there's got to be some growth for coaches, and that coaches can't just coach class, and privates hour after hour, day by day, that's probably not going to be something anybody's going to do for 25 or 50 years. So we wanted to create a space where coaches could diversify their incomes, but still be part of our staff. And I think we've really I think probably some of our staff would have left us and opened their own affiliate as a way to diversify their income and grow and learn. And instead, what they've done is stick with us and run their own side businesses. That's worked very well for us.
Awesome, thank you. So, guys, we're about I don't know. We've been at this for a little while now. I will answer another question here in a minute, but I just want to touch base on the fact of opening up a second affiliate. And I want to kind of summarize, in my opinion, when you do so. So, in my opinion, you open up a second affiliate for A few reasons, but mainly if you have someone on your staff that's so good at what they do that you want to utilize their skills, and you want to utilize their skills and give them opportunity, and so you do that by opening up in a second affiliate. But one thing to keep in mind is make sure that person has some business sense to what they're doing, and they're not just a really good coach. And if they are a really good coach, that's fine, but keep in mind that when you open up an affiliate with somebody, they can't just be a really good coach. They also need to have some business sense. And if they don't naturally have that, then help them get that. Take them to classes, do whatever you need to do. But the point I'm trying to make is that just because you're an excellent coach doesn't mean you're going to be an excellent general manager of a gym. So you need to help them hone their skills on how to manage other people and how to grow a business. So that's just something to think about. Lastly, on the note of opening up a second affiliate, keep in mind that when you open up a second affiliate, you're going to inevitably diminish the quality of what's happening at your one affiliate. And you need to ask yourself the question of, if a few people left this gym coaching-wise, is it still going to be running the same way it was before? And I use that example because let's just say you have a head coach, and they're coaching 30 classes a week or whatever it may be, and they're kind of like the center of your community at your one affiliate. They're so good that you want to open up another affiliate with them. Well, when you do so, everybody who was at your first affiliate was really connected to that person. And so now they feel like they lost something. They lost the sense of their favorite coach. And you might end up losing some members because of that, assuming the affiliate is far away and they can't go to that one. And so before you open up a second one, there's a lot of things you need to think about. But don't just get excited for the fact of, oh, I want to have 10 million gyms, because the more gyms you have, the more management you have to do, and the harder it is to run a business. So having one is exponentially easier than running two. It's like having children. One is a little bit easier than two. Two is a lot harder. It's double the amount of work. Same thing goes with an affiliate. So just be careful to do that before the time is right. And you'll know when the time is right, because they'll just have a gut feeling. You're going to have the staff to support it, and you're going to have the financials to back it up for a long period of time.
Hey Jay?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can I give people, there's an exercise that I use with people when deciding to open an affiliate. It's just 5 questions they can ask themselves, and I can quickly rip through them, and then they can take them home and do their homework if they want to do it. And as my mentor would say, if you're not willing to do the bare bones homework, you're not ready for whatever the next thing is. So here's the 5 key points that you can ask yourself. First and foremost, as we talked about earlier, is make sure your first location is profitable. Make sure your first business endeavor is actually making money, so that you know you've gotten good at what you're doing. All right? So ask yourself tonight or after this call, is your business actually profitable? You might have an oh shit moment at that point and be like, oh my God, I'm looking at another lease. I'm not even making enough money to afford the lifestyle I prefer, right? I'm affording the one that right now my business is deserving me. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and these are all things that Jason had touched on, is your business scalable and repeatable? Can you scale out to a second location and repeat what you've created in the first? Because as Jason said, the second one will become harder, and you will reduce yourself down in your presence by 50% immediately, and the workload will increase by 150%. So 1, are you profitable? 2, is your business scalable, repeatable, and can it operate with 50% of what you bring to the table, right? Then the third question you've got to do is, which is really your research. Did you do your research on this new area? Why that area? Can that area afford this product I'm bringing? Can I afford the area I want to get into, right? Not everybody can drop into the middle of San Francisco, drop into the middle of Silicon Valley, drop into the middle of New York. It's very expensive. So can the clientele afford me? Can I afford the clientele? Within number 3 of your research, is it an easily accessible location? Can you get in? Can members get out? Can you see it from a highway? Can you not? Check city records. Make sure there's no violations on the building, no lawsuits against it, and there's no major construction about to drive a highway right through your space. 4th is, do you have the money? Do you have the money, or are you hoping that the day you sign the lease, some dude's going to knock on your door and be like, hey, I want to give you a lot of money, I want a little piece, and I don't want to have any say? Because that's what they all say at first. Then they come in and they want a big piece, and they want to tell you how to run your business, right? So that's a whole other conversation that we can have at another time. And then The other thing is the fifth question you have to ask yourself, which is where Juliet has really mastered and Jason has really mastered, which is before you decide to open another location, are there other areas you can generate revenue by creating focus? Jason, who's mastered the corporate revenue stream, and Juliet, who's mastered the .com mobility revenue stream. So those are just the 5 key questions with some sub-questions that I like to leave people that they can think about later on today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so thank you for that, JP. I think that there's so much we could talk about here, guys. We can start talking about leases, what type of buildings, zoning. We could talk about HR issues, having AEDs in there. There's so many conversations we could have from an affiliate standpoint, and we're going to continue to have those. So JP, Juliet, and I, we really just want to try and give information to you guys as affiliates so you don't end up making some of the same mistakes we have. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to some retail products, to some management things, to all different types of things, and each of us have. And so we could share a little bit of information and just have you guys just think in your head, wow, okay, that was kind of a cool idea. That's what we're looking to do. So stay tuned for more things. This one was just about opening up a second affiliate. I think that JP's summary of the last 5 things is a great place to start. We also added some other chimes in there as we went. And so I hope everybody has a great afternoon. JP, Juliet, thank you for joining us. And until next time, guys, have a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, JP.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Juliet.